Hi Gayatri, hi Pushkar, how are you?
Hi, Nidhi.
All good
All
here.
good.
All good. Where are you based out of, by the way?
Right now in Mumbai, but
Okay,
we are from Chennai. So now staying in
okay,
a hotel
Hotel,
room.
hotel room.
nice. Is it raining still in Bombay?
No,
No, it's
it's
actually
bright
quite
and
sunny.
sunny for the past couple of days. I think the rains are fine. It rained a little bit in the morning, but then now it's all fine.
Nice. Well, we're actually expecting some rain in London, so I'm hoping we
Ah,
don't get that anytime soon either. It's nice and sunny for now. But welcome to Popcorn Pixel. I'm so excited to have you both here because you're the brains behind this film, and I enjoy talking to people who've written it and directed it. So welcome once again to Popcorn Pixel.
thank
Glad
you.
to be
Thanks for
here.
having us.
Thank you. So I read somewhere that the story of Vikram Vedha is inspired by Vikram Betal, or it's called, I think, Vikram Pachisi, if I'm not mistaken.
With
Betal
That's
Pachisi.
Pachisi.
Betal Pachisi, sorry. So that was actually quite fascinating because I didn't really know much about the story, but in 2020 lockdown, Doordarshan was actually airing the old episodes, and I was in India at that time. So I got
Aha.
to watch maybe like 3, 4 episodes. It was very interesting, but which is why this is fascinating. I wanted to ask you what motivated you or convinced you to use that as your backdrop.
Started from was one of those conversations late in the night, which basically uh, 5 rupee philosophies kinds. So we were talking about how storytelling in general and cinema in particular always makes it a question of right versus wrong, good
Oh,
versus bad, black versus white. And we were thinking like there's hardly any story we know which does black and white versus the gray. So the inverse, somebody who thinks the
In
world is
black
black
and
and white, that there is a polarity in the world, versus somebody who thinks that it's a spectrum, it's an en masse gray, and you have to just navigate your way through that. In that same conversation, came up like, hey, do you remember Vikram Betal, the
so much.
stories which we have read as kids? And all those stories end with a moral ambiguity. I mean, there
yeah.
are many, many versions of the Betal Pachisi around, the stories which are there in it, right? So we remember reading something where the questions which would end are not easy choices. It's not very apparent whether this choice is right or that choice is right. Like it takes you to take a stance to give that answer. It is not the choice between good and evil. It's not the choice between right and wrong. You will have to choose something which might be equally right or equally wrong.
So
So
it's
that was where the
subjective essentially, right?
right. So that's where the conversation was going on in terms of that moral ambiguity as the essence of what the characters are driving towards. From there, we started picking up on the idea and writing it.
And
Actually, the Cop and Gangster came much
yeah, we
later,
had a
no?
bunch of first setting it in the political world, and then maybe business, like big businessmen kind of thing. Then finally, this cop and gangster came. Like we needed more raw emotions and hard feelings, so this kind of fell into place.
Was there any, let's say, well, obviously not prior experience, but how did you then start expanding on the story? And the reason I ask that is because it always is very interesting when there is more than one writer involved. So it's, for me, that's a very confusing process, right? Because who writes which bit? How do you come together? Do you both write your own separate drafts and come together and compare notes? How does that work between the two of you?
I think over the years, we have figured out ways of writing with each other. Thing is, we've been together since college. So we have literally grown up together. So our exposure to cinema and to art and to music and to literature is pretty much identical. We have the same aesthetic base. So ideas usually match. So when we
Okay.
talk about it, it's never from very different planes of thought. Usually in a writer's room, what you actually try to assemble is people from very different schools of thought. So you can
Hmm.
have more bouncing. Here it's
Hmm.
not that. Here we are coming from a very, very common background, that so we can speak in bits and pieces of sentences. We don't need to articulate every idea down to its detail for it to be understood. I mean, if I
Hmm.
tell Gayatri the word grunge, she will know what grunge means to both of us. Is it
Mm.
Pearl Jam? Is it Nirvana? Is it Soundgarden? Or is it Bansky's Bansky's artwork? It's a very common base in which we're working, so it just becomes a little easier.
Yeah.
The process as such will vary. Sometimes I would write it. I mean, like somebody has to sit and actually type it out, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I would type it, Gayatri would type it, and then the other person reviews it and then does another draft and then again review it. So it, so essentially it's a very, very organic, but extremely slow process. Extremely slow.
Yeah.
It takes us years to write. So
how long? Back also. Sorry, what's that, Gayatri?
We're pretty laid back also, so we won't have like one deadline and I need to do this, we need to do that kind of thing. So it'll just
I mean
it'll just go on till
I think the joy of being a filmmaker is that the writing process, at least, you can choose to take as much as you want, basically till your bank account dries up and your fridge is empty. And then you start thinking, okay, I need to finish.
Now you need deadlines.
Now you need a deadline to finish.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've always taken long time to write anything. Vikram Vedha took us, 5 years to write, meaning like it's not like we sat every day and wrote it.
Yeah.
We will do a little bit and then it'll stay on a folder for a long time.
Also, we like to come back and look into it and make another draft. No, one thing we believe is like, you keep doing drafts, it gets better. So that is something which we believe.
Yeah, because when you step away from it and then you look at it with your fresh eyes, I think you get more ideas and you kind of are more observant as the day goes along, so you can actually change.
And you
your
see
nuances.
more flaws. Actually, you see more flaws. Also,
yeah,
so
yeah, and then you can tweak it around. But Vikram Vedha specifically, I know Pushkar, you've sort of mentioned on it, but Gayatri, I want to get your take on it. What is the takeaway for the audience? Because I know you said good versus evil, but is there something beyond that?
Rajnikant sir told one thing after he saw the film. He told it's like a mass film made in a class way and a class film made in a mass way. So that kind of, like really kind of sums up the film. So like there is a lot of action. Like, if you've seen the trailer and all, there is a lot of action, but there is a lot of emotion and a lot of intrigue. And this is not a film where you can, dig your phone and kind of follow the story. You need to be attentive. Like there are these little things which are like Easter eggs throughout the story, which unravel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you'll be entertained for sure, and there'll be enough to ponder also.
And see it for Hrithik and Saif's performance. Actually, in fact, the performance of our whole cast. The way Hrithik has interpreted the character and Saif has interpreted the character makes the characters all new. I mean, I guess that is the joy of working with great actors. They can look at a piece of text and bring in something which actually blows your mind also. I mean, like, whoa, okay, that's a nice way of looking at it. So that, I guess you'll see on screen.
Before I let you go, I do have a question. So I'll be honest, I have not seen the Tamil version, but someone who has, what is something new or unique they will experience with the Hindi Vikram Vedha?
Actually, we've been talking about it quite a bit. See, thing is how you see plays, like Shakespearean plays or like whatever, Streetcar Named Desire. So you have multiple interpretations of the same text. So when you have a new set of actors, then how they see the character and how they read the character, how they interpret it. So for us also, like a new set of casted crew, like the whole process becomes new. So it is at the heart of it, the soul is the same, but it's a different film.
Think of it this way. Magic in cinema happens in 3 places. One is when you're writing it, one is when you're shooting it, and the last is when you're editing it. These are the 3 places where your film actually gets made. So think of it as we have one common starting point, which is the script, but the other 2 are completely new. So you will be seeing a new film. That's the way we approach the film also. We didn't want to change some text just for the sake of changing it, to make it look feel different. All the changes which have been done on it are organically needed because we are setting it in Lucknow and Kanpur, and
Correct.
the characters are being pitched in a certain way. That would be the difference. I mean, I would say come and see a whole new, for people who have already seen the film, seen the Tamil version, come see a whole new interpretation of the two characters.
On that note, thank you so much. And that was actually a very fascinating chat because I wasn't expecting the response that you gave, that it is like a Shakespeare play. You can interpret it in different ways and everything. And that's so well put, because I'm actually more intrigued to watch it now. So thank you for this amazing conversation. And I really look forward to watching the film, and good luck to the two of you. Thank you.
Thank you so
Nidhi.
much. I am Gayatri.
I am Pushkar, and you're watching Popcorn Pixel.